What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Busy Life Podcast. My name is Julie. I am your host for our podcast episode today. And today we are talking about going from being super busy to feeling lonely. And I want to dig into that because I don't think a lot of people put the two of those topics together. And then when they do, they realize that they actually derive from each other a lot. So I don't know if those words made sense, but it did in my brain. So we're going to get started. All right. So from being busy to being lonely. As I mentioned in my first podcast episode, I was super busy for a very long time. I would say from about 2020 to quite recently, January 2023, my life was nonstop. I mentioned this in my first episode, but I'll recap for those of you who are either new or just want to hear the recap again. I am a teacher. I teach special education at an elementary school. I am a certified personal trainer, certified nutrition coach, certified women's health specialist. So for a long time, I was a personal trainer on the side. I was a personal trainer at a gym. And I just recently had to step back from that. Not because I don't enjoy it. I actually love being a personal trainer. I love it so much. Watching my clients grow and progress is one of the most rewarding things in the entire world, just like teaching is, but that's for a whole other topic. But I was so stressed because not only was I doing both of those jobs, so here I am getting up in the morning to go teach and then go to the gym to go train my clients and then stay at the gym to do my own workout. I also finished my master's. So yay, I got my master's in special education last May, but that was 3 years of doing that as well. And like I said, I'm planning my wedding. That's going to come up in 3 months, which is super mind-blowing to me. But that's a lot. That's a lot of things going on. Not a lot of free time, not a lot of time to just kind of relax, process everything, and really think about just, what is going on in my life and how do I feel? I didn't really check in with myself. So when I finally stepped on the brakes and I was like, oh my God, it took me realizing it. It took my therapist bringing it to my attention. It took my fiance saying, Julie, what are you doing? I realized that life is really, really busy. And when you stop, it's really lonely. And I don't know if that's something that I know it's not something that only I have ever experienced. But it hit me really, really hard. When I tell you, I really went from being on the move, on the go at all times. That's literally what it was. I would have friends text me being like, I feel like I never see you anymore. Oh, I feel like you don't like me anymore. Oh, I feel like you don't care about our friendship anymore. I mean, you name it. I probably heard it because that's what I did. I had to say no to a lot of things. And then when I did have to say yes, the people who missed me got offended. And I don't blame them. So I felt like I missed out a lot in life. And when I stopped working at the gym, it felt like that girl and that part of me, now bear with me for this, it felt like that part of me died. And I know that's a little dramatic and a little harsh, but I really feel like it did. I feel like when I finally stopped, it was like a train that was coming towards me, and the tracks were about to end, and oh my God, I was about to go off a cliff, and then I just went, stop! And now the world is calmer. And it's like I can hear the birds chirping. And I can feel my heart beating. And I'm sad at some points. And I apologize for getting emotional, but I can feel the difference in my body, and it makes me sad because I feel like I lost 3 years of my life. So I tell you this because if you feel like you have to do so many things, you feel like you have to accomplish everything because you're not worthy if you don't, and you can't pay those bills if you don't, or you have whatever you have to do in order to feel like you need to succeed. Maybe to an extent you do, but you really don't. You really don't. You don't need to feel like you're missing out on your life, because when you do, it hurts and it sucks. And I feel like I look back at Julie from 2020, 2021, 2022, and like I said, literally 2 months ago, Julie, and I don't recognize her. And to her, I'm so sorry because I was so harsh to her. I put her through so much because I wanted her to be the best version she could have ever been. But I didn't realize that I was hurting her. I'm sorry. But this is real. And this is why being busy is not always a healthy thing. Being busy is good sometimes, like when you go through a breakup and like, you know what, keep your mind busy because you don't want to be thinking about him or her or them or whatever, whatever it is going on in your mind, whatever it's the breakup or whatever happened to you. Maybe you're grieving. Sometimes you want to just keep yourself busy. Whatever the reason is that you feel like you need to keep yourself busy, to make money, to go through a breakup, to grieve, to just take your mind off of something, to feel successful. It's okay in doses. But just like anything in life, being busy is a balancing act. Because when you are as busy as I was, the minute you finally stop, even though it's something that your body and your mind and your spirit is so thankful for, I fell into this lonely place. So I wanted to look more into loneliness because that's what I do. I'm a nerd. I'm a teacher. I love learning new things. And according to mind.org.uk, one of the common descriptions of loneliness is the feeling we get when our need for rewarding or social contacts or relationships is not being met. But loneliness is not always the same as being alone, so that's important. You may choose to be alone and live happily without much contact or without other people, but others may find this a lonely experience. So essentially, loneliness is a feeling, but being alone is an act. For me, it's the feeling of loneliness. I don't mind being alone. I'm actually currently alone right now. My fiance is on his bachelor trip and he's having the time of his life. He's in New Orleans. So it's just me and my dogs. And I am enjoying this time because I was feeling the loneliness, and the act of being alone is not what's bothering me. It's the feeling I'm having right now, which is why I pulled out my mic and I said, look, this is probably something really important that I need to talk about right now. So mind.org.uk also says that you may also have lots of social contact and be in a relationship or part of a family, but you could still feel lonely because maybe you don't feel understood. Maybe you don't feel cared for by the people around you. And that sucks. I know there are many people out there that feel lonely for many other reasons than busyness. One of the quotes on this website says, "One thing I've learned is the difference between feeling lonely and feeling alone. How you can feel lonely in a crowd of people, but peaceful and content when you're alone." So feeling lonely itself isn't necessarily a mental health problem. It's just a feeling. But the sad thing is, Julie, you keep saying you feel so sad, you feel so lonely, and obviously when you are alone, based on what I'm saying, that's not the problem. You're right, it's not. But something I've mentioned before is that I have anxiety. And that's another thing. When I'm super anxious, sometimes I feel really alone. And I feel like nobody understands. And I know that's not true. But for those of you who have also had anxiety and also understand the panic attacks and just that constant fear or worry that your body feels and sometimes your mind doesn't, oh my God, it's so hard to explain. But at the same time, even though you're not the only person in this entire universe that has anxiety, sometimes in that moment you still feel lonely. So what does that have to do with anything, Julie? You said you were talking about how being busy can correlate with being lonely. Well, I have anxiety. It's making me now reflect. Was I so busy all the time because I was afraid of being lonely? And it's possible. It's really, really possible. Another quote on here says, I want to be able to interact with people and make new connections, but my anxiety feels like an invisible barrier that I can't break through. Same. My anxiety and depression isolates me from people and stops me from being able to do the things I'd like to do. So socially, it cuts me off. And it doesn't have to be anxiety, and it doesn't have to be constantly being busy. On here, it says that some people, certain life events make them feel lonely, such as death, going through a breakup. We mentioned some of these earlier, retiring, or losing social contact that you had at work, changing your jobs, feeling isolated from your coworkers. Starting at college, I definitely felt a lot of loneliness when I was in college. Moving to a new area or a country without your family and your friends. I mean, this is no joke. So going from being so busy to finally stopping that train from going off that cliff, because who knows what would have happened if I had kept going. Because now that I have that awareness, I look at it and I'm like, wow, it's scary. So what am I going to do about it, right? I said that the whole purpose of these podcasts is not just for me to vent, but it's for me to help everybody. It's for me to bring awareness to the effects of having a super busy life and how, I've said this before and I'm going to keep saying it, it's not always a bad thing to be busy, but we need to be aware when we are, because it can cause things like these deep, dark emotions. So, what can we do? Tip number 1, take it slow. If you have been in a dark depression or in a dark place, first of all, you're not alone. I'm here for you. I want my platform, my community to feel like a safe space for anybody who needs it. Because this is something I wish I had. So that's why I created it. Second of all, take your time. If you are ready to start getting back out there, to start seeing your friends again, to stop working so many hours, and to start emerging back into the world, go for it. But don't be afraid to take it slow. Now, you're 28. You really don't do anything on the weekends. And if you do, you probably work, because this is what happened to me. College Julie and adult Julie are two totally different people. So how do you do it? Do you just jump back in and you start seeing your friends every single day? No, that's a lot. That's overwhelming, actually. Start with one plan per weekend. And if that's a lot, one plan every other week or one plan a month. Take it slow. Take it at your own pace. Do what works best for you. Take it slow. Another tip, make new connections. Find more people who are like you and with you and understand where you're at in your life. For those of you who follow me on my health and fitness Instagram page, Julie underscore goes underscore healthy, I am a part of the most amazing community, and it's the sweat community. I have been doing the sweat workouts for, oh my God, I don't even think I could tell you how long I've been doing the sweat workouts for. I think I've been doing the sweat workouts for probably, oh my gosh, 2018, I think it is, to now. A lot of on and off, a lot of different programs. But the whole point is I made that Instagram to connect with other people who were doing those programs too, because I felt a little bit alone. You know, I was like, okay, I don't exercise. The gym is for people who do sports. It's not for people like me. Not true. The gym ended up becoming my safe space and my place where I found myself. And it was because of this community where I felt these connections with these people who also were like, hey, this is new for me. And, you know, I really want to find these connections. I want to find that support. Hi, I'm here. Make connections with like-minded people. It can even be at work. Maybe you want to just talk about, I do this all the time with my teachers and my coworkers. Maybe you just want to talk about the stressors of work. Find a coworker that you can go up to and say, hey, can I just talk about this with you today? I'm feeling kind of lonely. I'm feeling kind of overwhelmed, and this is on my mind, and I would love to just vent about it with you. Make like-minded connections with the people who are in your life now, who understand what you're going through, because maybe it's not the people from your past. I'm sure they would love to hear from you, and I'm sure they miss you, and they would say, hey, oh my God, yeah, it's been a while. How are you doing? But sometimes it's better to talk to the people who are currently in your life, because life ebbs and flows and changes and adjusts. Go with it. Do it with your life, because life happens for us, not to us, and not against us. Make new connections. Another thing, I mentioned this in my last podcast, and I mentioned this actually at the beginning of this one. I personally have a therapist. I know that's not for everybody, but that is another suggestion, and that's something that works for me. Another one is self-care. Now, this one is super, super broad, but what is self-care? How can I take care of myself when I feel like shit or I feel really lonely? Well, for starters, self-care is anything that you do that is for the benefit of yourself. It's not to impress somebody else. It's not to make somebody else happy. Self-care is something that you can do, and it's an act that you do that is for you, for your mind, your body, your spirit, and for your overall health and well-being, your physical, emotional, spiritual, mental health, all of it, taking care of yourself. And it looks different every day. So for me, today, my self-care, my form of self-care was walking my dogs outside because it's a sunny day. I'm an outdoor person. I love sunny, sunny weather, and being with my sister. I love being with my family. So I knew that what I needed today, because I was feeling pretty lonely, was I needed quality time with my sister and quality time with my dogs. And I needed to go outside because it was a sunny day and I needed to just feel the sun on my skin. Other days, it's doing my nails. It's going to get my toes done. It's going to have dinner with my girlfriends because I just need to take my mind off of life. It looks different for everybody. It could also just be taking a nice, long, hot shower and maybe asking your husband to help put the kids to bed because you just need that extra 10 minutes in the shower. It's different every day, but practicing self-care too. Look after yourself. Look after the way you feel, the way you're thinking. Be aware. And last but not least, please be careful when comparing yourself to others. Everybody's journey is individual. Everybody's journey is individual. Something that my all-time favorite influencer, friend, sweat trainer person, Kelsey Wells, says is that comparison is the thief of joy. And I'm going to repeat that because I actually wrote that in my phone. I put it on a wallpaper that I made for my phone background. Comparison is the thief of joy. And when you are in a really, really dark place, it kills you. The minute you look at social media and you see somebody and, she's got the new shoes and the new clothes and she's got such nice abs and, oh my God, now she's on the beach and this person is here and this person is there and they're doing this and they're doing that, you already lost. You lost the mental gain of taking care of yourself because you just compared yourself to somebody who is on a totally, totally different journey than you. That's like comparing yourself to somebody who is trying to get into school and somebody who is trying to run a race. They're two totally different things. One of them has a very different outcome and a very different process than the other one. So you can't compare. Loneliness is the same way. Busyness is the same way. If I am so busy to the point where I finally take that break, the concept of self-care might be really scary. But to somebody else who just might be busy sometimes and says, oh yeah, I'm going to go get my nails done. Well, that was easy for them, but it might not be for you. So please be careful when comparing yourself. And remember that it's not about what other people are going through. It's not about what so-and-so says and, but you need to be doing this and you need to be doing that and society wants you to do this. Fuck that. What do you need to do to take care of yourself? To feel this loneliness out and say, hey, what's going on? Why am I feeling this way? And take care of yourself. I've said before that this podcast is really going to be more about taking care of your health and yourself and your life because you deserve it. And no one else can give that to you. You deserve a life where you don't feel constant negative emotions. Loneliness is not a bad thing. Busyness is not a bad thing. If I'm busy, that's not bad. It's when it's constant and it's constantly taking over because then it's ruining you. And you'll have the same thing happen to you that happened to me, where you quite literally feel like that version of you, it's almost like you don't even recognize her. So, with that being said, I apologize if you were ready to listen to this really uplifting, woo, Julie's here episode. I will make the next one like that. But my goal for this podcast is to be as authentic with you guys as possible and to use my words as powerfully as I possibly can to reach you and support you as best as I can, because this is also how I am taking care of myself. And I want to show you that you can do the same thing because you deserve the same thing and more. We don't deserve to feel like shit. We really don't. Yes, hard things happen in our life. Yes, we are going to be busy. Yes, you are going to feel lonely. But when it's chronic, like the stress episode we talked about, when it's chronic, that's too much and you need to stop. You need to take a breather, look in the mirror, look at yourself because it's you. You're the one going through this and that's okay, but own it. Be aware. Look at yourself and say, hey, are we okay? What can we do? What are some things that normally make us happy? Who are some people we can grab the phone and give a call to? Or send a quick text, hey, I'm not feeling so amazing right now. You got a minute to talk? Or, hey, I have a lot on my brain right now. Is now a good time for me to vent? Or just, hey, I miss you. How are you doing? Or the one I send to my fiance a lot is, I'm feeling pretty lonely, babe. And that's it. It's okay. And it's really scary when you go from a place of being constantly busy to finally being aware of your emotions and your surroundings and your soul. And you realize, wow, I really thought I was taking care of you. And I'm so sorry I wasn't. Or at least that I wasn't doing it properly. But no one is perfect. No one is perfect. Perfect is not a thing. It's not achievable. It's not maintainable. It's not measurable. It's not. So, I'm going to wrap it up there. Thank you so much if you've made it this far into the episode. This one truly, truly came from the heart. And I was feeling these emotions so strongly today. I knew I needed to get the mic and pull it out and talk to you guys. I also wanted to say thank you so, so much for all the love on the last episode. We got 5 stars, which is so exciting. I posted the episode. I have them set to come out Fridays at midnight. I guess 12 a.m. on Fridays, because Friday's my favorite day. And I love Fridays so much. They bring me so much joy. It's like I still go to work and I still see everybody, but everybody's in a good mood because it's Friday and you have the whole weekend ahead of you. And Fridays are just phenomenal. So far the plan is for episodes to come out every Friday. There may be some bonus episodes here and there. We'll see. But in the meantime, thank you for all your support. Thank you for all the shares, all the likes, all the comments, everything. Please keep it up so this is something that I can continue doing with you guys. I will continue doing it no matter what, but all of your love truly, truly makes a difference. And I want to hear from you. What are some more things that you guys want to hear about? Are there any topics you definitely want me to discuss? Any guests that you guys really think would be powerful for me to bring on? And thank you. Thank you so much. I hope you guys have an amazing day, and I'll talk to you next time.